Hey radiant souls, welcome back to my channel, The Radiance in You. I hope you all are doing well and staying grounded in faith, love, and are able to go through the massive changes that we are witnessing now. We talked a lot about, the endings of the ninth year. So it was not, the energies don't coincide only with the Gregorian calendar, but these energies are going away now, or the new is going to come in by the mid of Fab, probably around 19th. There are a lot of planetary movements right now happening. So I hope you're able to go through all of this with faith and patience. So we are back to doing an activation today. Some of the themes that are coming out are a lot of balance of the masculine and the feminine within. So if you have been the journeyer who has worked a lot in balancing your inner feminine and inner masculine, this is coming into a beautiful culmination of harmony and balance now. So you may be witnessing that greater balance of being and doing, responding from a place of faith rather than reacting, but knowing what you're feeling within so that you don't have to just depend on external. Okay, so we have triumph, disruption, and patience and planning. Okay, so if you have been in firm foundation at the base of the deck, triumph, disruption, patience, and planning. So we just talked about, as I was shuffling, I was talking about that the balance of the masculine and feminine. If this is something you have been doing for a while now, you know what I'm talking about in terms of what you have allowed to be uprooted from your life. If your feminine had been weak, whether it is within you or in your family line, so there would be weak means, and this is not reading from the card, this part is the channeled message or the downloads that I wanted to share with this collective here. So weak masculine, weak feminine is basically if your family line, your immediate, up till generations of your parents or your grandparents and you yourself, if you had experience shutting down the softness because intuition or the place to halt and take decisions from a place of inner knowing, honoring your inner feminine, which is basically creating the space to go within and seed what are your deep desires. If those qualities in you have been or in your family line had been weak because the masculine was not strong to protect that feminine. Now, whether it is within the same person or it played out in the dynamics of the male, female in your family lines, if the father figures, brother figures, or masculine figures were not strong or were not attentive, or whatever reasons were not available, either they went to war, they worked outside of home, or they didn't have fully developed sensitivity, whatever the reasons were, the cycle starts when the masculine was not protective, not around, and so the feminine qualities did not get the chance to blossom. They did not get the chance to be fully, in the throne of the feminine. It was not the empress mode. So then, whether it was your the feminine lines in your heritage, if they had to rise and, kind of embody the masculine energies, to go and provide and become the hunter gatherer and all of it, over a period of time, then it starts emasculating the brothers and the fathers and the men in the family, and within their own self. You try to subjugate the healthy masculine, or because the feminine is resentful, is in a victim mode. So while you embody the masculine by running around and providing and holding the fort, it is not the healthy masculine. It is not the one who has received the compassion and the care and permission from the feminine, whether inner or external dynamics of relationships, to rest, to just not be the provider who has to run around and just do things one after the other. It's an endless task list. When you do not get the permission from the inner feminine or the feminine around you, then you become more and more detached from your inner sensitivity. And there arises the unhealthy masculine. And so even the women who embody that level of masculinity then become detached and disconnected, not detached in a healthy way, rather disconnected from their inner feminine. And so it's a cycle. So the more you feel disconnected, the more you are not embodying the feminine, the more you will vilify and emasculate the masculine figures around you or within you. And then it never gets a chance to become healthy. So only when you allow for things to drop, you allow the masculine to rest, give permission to the masculine to not have to chase goals all the time or be the provider. And sometimes those were inevitable, whether it's generations before you, there were war times, or there were famines, or there were natural disasters, or there were less the world we inhabited was different. And so when people had to go out, even in today's world, we have those professions when people have to stay away from their families to go and earn their livelihood and provide, but then it becomes disconnected in terms of emotional connection. So that kind of cycle then leads to not having the space to find a balance. So while you will do things, but you will always nullify or negate or discredit the healthy masculine. And so you, the viewer who has felt connected to these readings and these activation sessions, has been on a long journey to break those generational cycles. You have been working on looking at the shadow side of your feminine and your masculine, and what has been the dysfunctional sides, and you have allowed those to fall away so that the healthy inner feminine and the healthy inner masculine have been able to come to the surface. And that integration has been a huge integration theme that has been happening. And in the last sessions we did, before this session, and especially the last year, there was a lot of that coming into the surface, coming into the consciousness awareness to integrate. So if you are here today now, or whenever you will listen to this, you have come to this from a place of a great integration, and that integration has allowed you to connect with your divinity. The integration has happened between your humanity and divinity, your masculine and feminine. So your action-taking self versus intuitive self, the inner knowing, the ability to sit with information, the ability to sit through decision-making. So that's how you have arrived at taking very grounded, well thought of strong foundational decisions to bring in your new, and that new includes new relationships, new collaborations, new ecosystems, and new love. So that is a theme that I wanted to share with the collective who's come to view this. And of course, in the spread, let me just take out some more of the cards before the spread, before I start reading them. So the base of this deck is Sword of Light, Divine Protection, Cords Cut, Breakthrough Energy. And of course, we have been talking about what you have cut away to create the strong foundation. So we got Triumph, Disruption, Patience and Planning, Serious Star Blessings, Yes, Proceed, Be Seen, Push Through, Seraphim's Gateway. It's so beautiful. The angelic like coming together of everything beautiful. Voice activation, angelic attunement, divine support, and then the divine metrics, interconnectedness, synchronicity, God incidences. Okay, let me just draw cards from one more deck, two more decks, in fact, actually, one from the Love, one from the Earth Warrior, before we read more into this. These cards are pre-shuffled, but I just wanted to shuffle one more time as I connect with this collective energy. Okay, so we have the Angel Rasbar. Now let me just put it here. Angel Rasbar. And we have Let Love Transform as the base of the bottom of the deck. So of course, a huge energy surge of heart energy that has come forward for this collective. It has been coming forward. That heart activation has led to voice activation as well. Basically, you know, when you are such a deep journeyer, when you have done such deep soul work, so the disconnection from one reality, one timeline to the connecting to the next timeline, you lose the sense of who you are, and that loss is important. Of the disconnection from strong identities is important to totally allow one timeline, one lifetime, or many lifetimes to fall away. Okay, this card totally looked at me, peeped, so I'm gonna take that. And we got Divine Might Foretold, number 31, Elhaz, and we have this stag with the strong antlers. Okay, I think I need to move the cards a little here. So yeah, so this is from the Earth Warrior. So my intention of drawing this card is to see what is the love energy, what is the action energy, or not just action energy, but like what are you here to activate and act as in your Earth Warrior form. And what we got here is Divine Might Foretold. So your Earth Warrior has found the voice, your purpose, stronger alignment with that. And then the base of the deck is Turquoise Changing Woman, Estana Lehi. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So that's the base of this deck. And we are going to have one final card before going a little deeper into some of the meanings from the Kali Oracle deck, because she signifies creation through destruction. The new creation comes from destroying the old, destroying the worn out, destroying what has lived its purpose. And also the Dark Mother means when she comes to you, you don't go to her, she comes to you. And what that means is when your soul is ready for the deep, dark, underworld work, you know, to go and identify shadows, you know, deep lineage work, your own lifetimes of shadow work, she gives you the courage to find the voice, to find the courage in your body, in your environment, to allow to fall down. And it's not easy. It's not a happy, oh yeah, I see this now, so I'm letting this go. It is, these are deeply held pieces of you. So allowing that destruction needs the blessing and support of someone as strong as Kali, or Goddess Isis, or whoever else you work with. But as a deep, somewhat shamanic journey, you have been the journeyer going to underworlds to recover parts of you. And we receive her Kaladhara Roop. The Kaladhara activation is basically, who brings new. She knows what is the new, the planetary movements behind her. This is also the crescent moon. So Kaladhara. So that kind of signifies the shift through. Kal is like eons. It's passage of time that is so huge. It's like lifetimes. It's an age that goes by and then brings the new. So we will read from the book. I'm just going to place her here, or actually I'm going to place her here for now. And lastly, we are going to see what message of love wants to come. If you are, oops, okay, now I have to take this back. There are a lot of cards that wanted to fly, so there is a lot of love flying around you. One way to look at it. So this is more like if you have been inviting love into your personal circle, if you have been wanting a love relationship in terms of romantic love, if you have been wanting love, greater love with yourself, and if you have been wanting greater love with the divine, whatever wanted to come out. And we got self-initiation. We have been getting this self-initiation energy also in our past sessions. So one of the ways to know, okay, and we got guardian of the soul family as the base of the card, oracle deck. So one of the ways to know if this message, any message, is divine message, your inner intuitive knowing, or a cosmic channeling, is to see the continuity of these messages in different activation sessions, or your daily self-reading you do, or a practice that you do every day to connect to your higher self and the divine. The messages from divine are not one new every day, or whatever you think in your mind, whether it's in a state of anxiety or state of relaxation or state of joy or state of sadness. Based on that emotion, you're experiencing something, or you're wanting to see something and you want that message to come in. It doesn't work like that. How it works is it'll be a consistent message of nudging you towards a direction. Sometimes when you're not fully ready, or you're resisting that going into that direction because you have fears, and that's the essence of such journeys. Those fears are so deep, embedded in your soul print, because you have carried them from multiple lifetimes, because you have carried them through your lineage, because you have carried them through multiple incidents and events in your life in this lifetime. So there is resistance. You may know it intellectually, but you can't get your body and your mind and your emotion and all together to head in a new direction, because it is not that easy. And because it is not easy, you have been holding on to it, right? So when divine messages come, it will consistently nudge you in that direction, so that you will be getting the same messages. And if you also tune into other readers or other frequency activators, you will find similar activations, because we all are vessels to carry that frequency. Some of us just get into a public space and allow our vessels to carry those frequencies for the collective, but you are doing that for you yourself too. So anybody and everybody who is in that frequency will be channeling the same activation for you. And that is your message to know that you are actually embodying that frequency. And that is why, as I always say, that you have to resonate with it. If it resonates, then take it. If it doesn't, then don't force it. You are not in that frequency. It's not your journey at this point to be in this frequency. And that is perfectly fine, because you may wish to be here or you may get triggered by listening to anything. That means you are not quite in the frequency. And that's okay too, because, every soul has their own unique journeys. And so you will be in the journey that is meant for you, in the pace, in the rhythm that you are supposed to travel. Okay, so I'm going to place this here. So let's now look at this together, and also we'll read from the books for the activation. So we see a triumph to start with. So the journeyer, the viewer who has been part of the collective, coming into my sessions and activating their soul journeys here, or getting a confirmation of their soul journeys, you have found triumph over the journeys, over the parts that you have worked hard to integrate, over the parts that felt like slow moving, that felt like invincible, that felt like took all of your mental, emotional, and soul energy that you are capable of bringing together to manifest your path forward. It needed all of you to reach this point, and that's where we start today. Triumph. Okay, we found the disruption and the patience and planning. So disruption is you disrupted, and in two ways I read this energy. You disrupted what needed to fall as the tower, what was caging you. If you see this figure, okay, sorry, I think this is a little reflection on it. So here is the figure. So that this disruption figure is where this person is caged, tightly imprisoned by this tower, by these stones. And so this disruption, the tower, basically signifies you have found triumph. You have been able to find your victory over what was caging you, what was imprisoning you, what made you feel stuck, what came to you through the lineage as your fixed energies, as your fixed destiny. No matter how hard you tried, you had to remain within those boundaries. What came to you as memories of other lifetimes, and maybe this lifetime, early childhood, where you were unable to move beyond some repeating patterns. So causing disruption to those patterns allowed you this triumph. So this is not a disruption that is coming to you now. I'm sorry for the reflection, but I'm just going to leave it there because that was the positioning of that. And it comes in the central position. Very, very important for you to see that the disruption is aided by divine support. If you see this here, supported by divine to cause this disruption in your life. So a lot of things had fallen away from your life, maybe jobs, maybe familiar structures of friendships, maybe your place of living, maybe where you earned your money from, maybe family systems, friendships, or familiar networks that once felt comfortable and now you cannot resonate anymore. Not now as in now, but maybe through your journey what started falling away, and what you resisted as well were either forced out of your hand by divine forces, and you could look back and see, and thereby then sided with the divine forces to allow the disruption to happen completely. And it needed a lot of patience and planning. Number 7, and this is in the realm of material manifestation, this arcana with the red borders. So this basically, and these are two major arcanas. So you were supported, you supported yourself both by divine support and your own intelligent human intelligence of patience and planning. And if you see, this figure is again a masculine figure. So this patience and planning is the inner masculine within us. If you were supported by externals, and that could be one, but I typically read the energies or activate the energies of the viewer. So I would see this as your inner masculine. And if you are an external masculine as well, so that speaks to you. But if you are a woman looking at this, or other gender, your inner masculine had been very strong. Through patience and planning, sitting with yourself, looking at different strategies, diving deep into faith and spiritual resources when things were not moving for you, allowed you to find that patience, planning, and strategizing of how to allow this disruption of your worn out patterns of the spiritual warfare with the energies that no longer can go forward with you. When you have fought these spiritual and physical world battles, it included dark shadows within you. It included dark forces, and these dark forces are those of doubts, of greed, of anger, of resentment, of not being able to see your own truth, and thereby being moved by what is happening around you, and thereby not finding your own firm foundation. All kinds of things that you have worked with or staged a battle with. It needed patience in planning. And it may have mirrored in the external others, in your physical world, it may be in the job world, maybe in relationships where people mirrored those energies that were within you. If, for example, if you got triggered by people who were extremely driven and extremely self-focused and very out there doing their thing, claiming their milestones and achieving goals, and you get triggered by them, so that trigger told you about your own emotions that did not allow you to see the light. That means you had resentment, you may have envy, you may have judgment, but those also told you not just to work on yourself, to clear out or allow the tower to clear out those emotions of envy or resentment or any such feelings that you did not want to carry, because now you have elevated yourself to the higher frequencies of love and compassion and acceptance, but you learned how to do higher boundaries, stronger boundaries. You learned how to own those qualities that triggered you about others in you. Maybe you were able to see that you didn't have yourself such strong goals and strong boundaries to achieve those by cutting away distractions, by disconnecting from sources that were draining you. So that kind of work needed a lot of patience and planning. Patience with yourself, planning how to approach a situation that was repeatedly bringing you disruptions, repeatedly bringing you into limiting, caged boundaries, against the wall. It was not bringing results. How would you approach it differently? So external planning, and also dropping into your heart for more divine support, for more resources, for dipping into that part within you which is full of light, which never fades. So you did all that with patience and planning. And then we have this spread which talks about where you have not only received divine support, but you have embodied these higher frequencies yourself. You see, this is the flower of life, right? The divine metrics, Seraphim's gateway. So this, you have angelic support, you have, attunement with the angelic qualities within you. And if you believe in the angelic qualities as angels and divine team as outside of you, then you have also tuned yourself with that. So you have come into integration of your human self with your divine self. And you were probably connected with your star origins through this process. And you have started inviting in people, new situations, energetically for sure, even if it has not yet fully, I mean, we are right on the brink of that. So many of you may have started seeing some of those coming into reality now. But if not, definitely the accelerated motion kicks in around mid-February, maybe around 19th of February. We also do have a solar eclipse, even though you may not see it from most parts of the world, except for probably Antarctica on 17th of February. But the energies of solar eclipse brings new through the portal. So there are interconnectedness, synchronicity, and God incidences coming into your world now. New people who see you, who believe you, who want to work with you, who want to create with you, who want to enjoy your light, who want to receive your light and give to you because they carry similar light. So that's happening for you now. And in the love, if you are inviting, again, we get the angel raspbar. So there's an angelic presence right at the center of the spread, as well as in love. We have a very similar figure in two different decks in this is a love deck of a feminine figure with very flowy red yellow energies. So an activation, I see this an activation of your root chakra, of your passion, of igniting the fire within you, the passion within you. So basically allowing the kundalini and a fire in you to rise and ignite all the dreams and passions that are now no longer shadowed or carry any shadow imprints of others or your own past lives. It is now moving forward, burnt by the holy fire. So your self-initiation energy is now soft, glowy, and red and fairy. And if you see, this card has the same color combination. So you have the glowy glow of the divine support of the yellow angelic and the red core of the passion. So that deeply held passion within you, what is your raw essence? What is your wild self? And allowed it to rise, allowed it to bring you feelings and have those somatic feelings register in you. What does that make you feel? You don't have to act on it because you have patience in planning. When it arises in you and then you experience it fully, then you know where your original essence lies. What is your raw, wild self telling you or asking you to give shape and form to what desires? Then when you bring in your patience and planning to give shape to those, then you have the triumph of finding closer purpose, closer alignment with your purpose of what you have come to do. And that divine might foretold then basically tells you that you cannot get away from your purpose, you cannot be away, or you cannot be doing something which is not for yours to do. Even in your darkest moment, you are walking that path. That darkest moment is there to remind you how to have a self-initiation, how to have the fire ignite within you so that it burns away that dark moment, the darkness of what is caging you, so that you can free yourself. And what emerges out of that is your divine purpose, is your human purpose, is your human goal in this lifetime. So there is no wrong path. Wherever you are walking, whatever you are doing is ordained, is destined. And this is not destined from somewhere else. It is from your own higher self, because Here, you're self-initiating this journey. You're calling in divine support. You're bringing in her, Kaldhara. It's like what she grants after you go through transitions of ages, lifetimes. You have called in these angelic and divine and the dark godmother to you to allow this transition to happen, and you have triumph, and you have blessings of your star origins to say yes, proceed, be seen, push through. And you cannot have anything but victory, because it says divine might foretold. So as we end today's session, we will read from the book of the Kaladhara, and I intend for us, the viewer, to receive this as an activation of their power, of the Goddess Mother's support. So let's read from the book. Kaladhara, she is not bound by appearances, opinions, or material limitations. She is both the void and the infinite creative potential that arises from it. Do not be afraid of uncertainty. If you feel you are without resources, take comfort now. Where there is lack, she restores abundance. She can bring forth exquisite blessing and glorious manifestation from the sacred expanse of nothingness. Your soul can rely upon her completely. Cast your fears away. Hers is the power of the universe, combined with the generosity of grace. Wow. So definitely there has, as we talked about, I'm just going to place her here for you to view as we do the invocation. So definitely you have worked through a lot of fears, deeply held fears. We talked about it at the beginning, and allowed the falling away of what is not resonant with your soul frequency anymore. So when fears arise, if you're still experiencing that every now and then, I intend for her blessing to surround you, because she is the sign that you're not alone. She will create and bless you with abundance in all forms, how you need, when you need, in terms of clothing, in terms of food, in terms of housing, in terms of finance, in terms of community, learning opportunity, connections, love, your heart opening, whatever resources you need to succeed, to continue on your triumphant journey, she will provide you. Divine might foretold, you will not have anything less than victory. So as you soften your gaze and look at her powerful, this is a nighttime emanation, so she emerges from nothingness and blesses you if you feel you are without resources. So as you soften your gaze on her, I am going to do the invocation. You can just place your hand on your heart and listen to this prayer. Taking a deep breath. Kaladhara, universal priestess of the sacred feminine. Garva, cosmic womb, divine creatrix. Devi, who is before the beginning and after the end and within all between. I seek refuge in you, offering all to you that I may bear the pain of loss and open to the bliss of rebirth. You dwell in the endless vastness beyond all that is. You are the reminder of infinite potential, the gift of regenerative blessing, to rise again in a new form, cleansed from the poisons of the past, with full presence and peace in this moment, for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Jai Ma Kali Kaladhara. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali, Jai Ma Kali. So I'm going to leave it here for today's activation session. If you found resonance and you would like to continue to receive these sessions with me, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And please help spread the light and frequencies to those who will find resonance with it and who will need this. Let us create heaven on earth together. Thank you. Until next time.